What's poppin', y'all? Somebody that we haven't heard from in a while has decided to call out the big three and mainstream rap as a whole. And that is none other than a member of the legendary XXL freshman class of 2016 and the guy that kicked it off, Denzel Curry. So he posted on his story the following. None of this music-ish is interesting anymore. Commercial rap is dead, and I'm here for it. Ish was trash from the jump. Well, hold on. F how cool you dress. S sound good too. Some of y'all sound more trash than what you trying to imitate. I may sound like a hater, but shoot, you need a hater to tell the truth. We don't need another big three. F that. And goes on to say, OGs got no respect for the younger generation. New generation don't care about the craft. There's a space where they can learn from each other. Now, there's a couple of things that we can talk about here. Now, some guy, I have to read one of these comments. Some guy really said, Osama-san, Che, Cardi, Lone, Zucchini. Dog, I don't know if I'm going to listen to somebody called Zucchini. I actually know most of these guys. I didn't listen to the Che guy. All dropped interesting projects this year. I don't know what bro is on about. I'm going to keep it a stack. UK Underground are more fire than the US one right now. But he's talking about commercial rap. None of these people are really commercial like that. And I think he's got a point. Like, first, I want to address the OGs and the younger generation, and then new gen and the craft. I'll give you an example. I do have respect for Osama-san because he came up with this guy, Netspend. This guy, Netspend, what the hell is he doing? The last two things I've seen him doing is like crying, like that thing leaking of him crying over his girl, and what else? Like, I have not heard anything related to Netspend music since he dropped that piece of trash that was his debut. And let's be honest, even if you're a Netspend fan, you know that thing was a piece of trash. What was it? Yeah, Bad Kid. That was a bad project. We're not talking the good type of badass. Actually, he did drop something in August, which seemed to have done. Okay, so I got to check that out. All right, so he's dropped recently. Okay, respect. No disrespect coming from my end here. But when he's talking about OGs, what are OGs going to respect? And you can kind of consider there has to be a new age of OGs, which I look at as the early 2010s, right? The OG of Baby Keem, who Baby Keem is not even really in the mix with many of his peers right now, would be Kendrick Lamar. So Kendrick Lamar is his OG. You've got J. Cole, he's with JID, but JID's been here since 2017? So JID is almost 10 years into the game himself. But let's just say that we've got J. Cole, JID, we've got Drake and everybody. So Drake is being an OG to anybody that gets some motion, has some talent, and he brought out Fake Mink at Wireless Festival in the UK when he was bringing out a ton of people in London. Then you've got Travis. Travis put on, what's his name? I can't believe his name. Don Toliver. Whoa. He put on Don Toliver. So they're doing well. Also, Sheck West, of course. But like I said, now we're going back to 2018, Astroworld era. That's when both of these guys got brought on. So Fago, it's like we don't really know the situation there. And Yeet also, Drake, was kind of his OG, and there was a strong relationship there. Now Yeet's OG is like Justin Bieber, which, not to take anything away from him, but Yeet is clearly somebody that's doing very well. So I don't understand why Denzel Curry would say that's not interesting. Like, commercial rap as a whole, it is kind of depressing and dull because, like we said, like on the Hot 100, it's really not going that crazy. The new generation, I think a lot of them do care about the craft. Like, if we just name a couple of names off rip, like Yeet clearly cares about the craft, right? We can agree on that. Then who else do we got? We've got Big X the Plug, clearly cares about the craft, right? Ray Vaughn, honestly, Joey Badass stopped responding to that guy, and we haven't heard from him since. You've got other people like, who else? Ian, I think he cares about the craft, although I think he's still like catching his footing. Jello, what happened to him? But I have not heard anything from Jello, LiAngelo Ball, in quite a while. Nino Pate is also somebody that you can say is he's messing with the he's somebody that actually takes his craft serious. Four Bats as well, but how much of a rapper is Four Bats really, I guess you could say. But yeah, like I said, Big X the Plug, a Cash Cobain, for instance, these people take music seriously. It's just that I think Denzel Curry is reminiscing on a time that we will never get again in commercial rap. And I don't think it was trash from the jump, to be honest. Now, is this shots? It could be interpreted as shots. Nah, I don't think it is actually shots. But in my head, when I thought F how cool you dress, I thought A$AP Rocky, and then I thought the Raider Clan / A$AP Rocky beef back in the day. If you know, you know. Can you believe that thing is almost 15 years old now? 15 years old. So if you were there during that era, congratulations. You're old. You're Unk status. And Denzel Curry is somebody that has he has a good lens to look at this through because he's had hits online. He's had online hits, and he's been independent for, I think, throughout his career. He's still streaming very, very well. Like, for instance, he's streaming better than Blueface. And Blueface is more of a quote-unquote mainstream artist. But for his last project, I didn't even listen to his last project. I didn't even know that it came out, which depresses me a little bit. I'm disappointed in myself for that. He had, King of the Mischievous South. Man, he had a lot of people on here. But he put together a project of people that he messes with. And this streamed well. Like, he got songs with Mexican OT on there. And I think there's rappers on this list that he worked with, like Tia Corinne, Mike Dimes. I don't know what he's been doing, really. But I'm glad to see that he's still doing his thing. And the last project that I really paid attention to was Melt My Eyes, See Your Future by Denzel Curry. But Denzel Curry is somebody that's had internet hits like what's that one song? There's Walkin', of course, but there's Ultimate. That was one of the biggest songs of the 2010s. Online, at least, Vine era, all of that. And he's somebody that can rap, but also can make good music, has been in the game since he was like 15, 16 years old, around there. And he's right in that commercial rap, it's just, like I said, rap is so disconnected. Like, who did I mention? We got Big X the Plug, who's killing it right now. We've also got a rapper like Tu Hollis, he's killing it. Now, commercially, he's not huge and gigantic, but musically speaking, he's doing his thing. But this is more like kind of like electronic mix of rap and a little bit of like the underground rap song of like the remnants of Rage, if you want to call it that. That guy's relatively new. We had Nino Pade, who's more of like, I wouldn't say traditional rapper, but he doesn't have that like commercial spark. So I think personally, the music that's coming out right now, the diversity of it and the amount of it is greater than what we had in the last time we had a big three, which was like 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. Like, yeah, sure. It sounds like, if we look back at it, it sounds like we had a lot more. But really right now, especially if you're looking for stuff, there's plenty of great music. It's just not catching commercially. And this goes back to the superstar argument that I had years ago, which was the last time we had a superstar was over 10 years ago. Travis Scott debuted in 2025 with Rodeo. Like, if you don't call days before Rodeo or anything like that. 2025, I think it was September. It's been over 10 years. There has not been a superstar since then. There was a Jack Harlow who came in and it looked like that was about to happen for him, but a couple of things got in the way, I guess. Part of that being momentum, but that's just one example. Who else? Nobody has been able to breach superstar. And even if you talk about Playboi Carti, I would think I know for a fact globally, Playboi Carti has some of the biggest appeal right now of any artist, but he came out in 2015. I'm willing to say that 2017 was when he really came into the game with Magnolia as a mainstream act. So you could say like that was his debut tape as well. So if you want to take out Travis Scott, you can say Playboi Carti's the most recent superstar we've had. And even that is 8 years ago. Lil Baby is not as popular globally as Playboi Carti. I promise you this, right hand to God, everybody will agree with me, unless you're just clueless. I'm telling you, like, Lil Baby feels bigger, but he's not. And that's it. Who else? Who else has come out since then? Nobody. Gunna, come on now. Gunna globally is not as big as Playboi Carti. Gunna, like, you could just see Playboi Carti's numbers and the amount of hype that was surrounding the project that released this year, music, 2024 music, then 2025 music, then I Am music. So he's the one that we've got, and he's tried to bring in like a Ken Carson and Destroy Lonely. So I would say maybe that's like the big three of this new gen, because a lot of these people like the Osama Sons and Chase and things like that, they're heavily inspired by Whole Lotta Red era. But even commercially speaking, the biggest songs that Carti had were due to the collaborations with The Weeknd, like Rather Lie. His album is still performing well streaming wise, but hits, commercial hits, solo, he doesn't really have many of those, partially because his music is not palatable to like the pop listeners of America, especially like country. Now you have country, reggaeton, and what else, like any type of Latin music, because you got Peso Pluma and he's not reggaeton. He's what's the name of the type of music that he makes? I forgot what it's called. I would like for Denzel Curry to expand on this more. Maybe he's doing an interview or something like that, or he gets on an IG video. I want to know what sparked this thought in his mind too, because he's not somebody that really says much often, unless it has to do with his music. But current state of hip hop, I love the current state of hip hop. Commercially, I am a little bit disappointed that, we're not killing it on the charts, but when I'm getting fed, I don't mind. But let me know what y'all think about this. And don't come here talking about Ice Spice being a superstar or something like that. Like that's crazy. That would really, really trip me out. And you've also got a bunch of female rappers that are killing it right now too. But none of them are really commercial. Like, for example, Megan Thee Stallion, she just dropped a flop of a record. But you've got people like, what's her name? Flo Milli, she's doing her own thing. JT's trying to run it up. You've got really the second incarnation, or like the rebirth of Larry June, who's been killing it recently. But yeah, he's not hitting the charts. So commercial rap being dead, I'm in agreement there. New commercial rap. Like Big X the Plug is really the only guy I can think of that's had a commercial hit or multiple commercial hits in the past several years consistently. And even he doesn't feel as big as his hits would suggest. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.